Welcome back. Today we're going to spend a few words on wireless earbuds, specifically kind of the budget range from Amazon. And so before we get to reviewing these guys, I just wanted to take more than a few minutes and talk about how I actually got these, because it's almost as interesting story as these guys. And if you guys want to feel like taking some money at risk, you can do it, up to you. But I just want to kind of walk through, because I was chatting with one of these guys and he was looking for people. I said, okay, well, didn't really feel the need to talk about it, but I will. I get nothing out of it, but I will give you some pointers as to what I did and how I got these guys. So first, on Facebook, there's a lot of groups that are dedicated to testing products on Amazon. And you kind of know the gist of it. You buy a product, give it a review, and they reimburse you. It's kind of a product trial in order to get good feedback on products. So first of all, you need a Amazon. I don't think you need Amazon Prime, but I think it helps. But you need a profile that's been around for a while, and you need PayPal to get reimbursed. And you have to be willing to leave a 5-star review. So if that is something that you're not comfortable with, then probably not for you. But so the gist of the whole process is, on Facebook, there's a couple groups. This happens to be the one I was talking to last night. I think it's a new group. It's called, if you search on Facebook for Bluetooth headphones test, it's a public group. So join the group. And I kind of cut it off down here, but you'll see a bunch of messages that basically say, hey, if you're interested in testing this Bluetooth product, message me. Okay. So you message him, and he'll basically say, what's your Amazon profile? Are you willing to buy this and leave us a review? And if you agree to all that, he'll give you a pointer to the product which you buy with your own money. And then after your review is live on Amazon, he will reimburse you. So I've done this a few times. I've done it with all 4 of these guys that you see here. I don't know, kind of risky, kind of shady. I bought one from this guy last night. I don't have it because I literally just ordered it last night. And as we're chatting on Facebook Messenger, he's like, hey, if you know any people to refer, send them my way. I'm like, oh, okay, well, we'll give that a shot. So here we are. So another group is, I think this is actually one of the ones that I started with originally, was US AO5 Amazon Tester Community. So this is a closed group, and you got to join. It'll probably take a day to get approved in there. And so you do that, and I wouldn't necessarily, so you can kind of see where you'll see ads like this. So this morning, 3 hours ago, free pest repeller for US only, need review, and you'll see a bunch of products like that. I don't necessarily, on this one I think I actually do, but you typically on the groups, they don't really post all that great stuff that you're really interested in, especially earbuds. But this will actually trigger, so joining this group will trigger ads on Facebook, which is kind of the more important part of this whole process. Is now when you go through your Newsfeed, after you get into this group, and it took me about a day, your Newsfeed will actually have targeted ads for these guys. And so here's one from this morning. So this is a screenshot from my Facebook feed on my phone. So you see this sponsored ad, wireless earbuds, a new wireless Bluetooth. It's a gift for you. We invite you to enjoy it for free. And somewhere in there probably says, give us some feedback on our new product. Test for free. Need PayPal. So if you're interested in doing this, you send this guy a message. So you click this, and then a bot will show up, and it'll say, are you interested in learning more about this? And if you type yes, then it'll be a bot, and it'll kind of walk you through. And I think typically, because of these guys are actually sitting in China, and they're about 12 hours off from me, the bot, if you actually walk through the bot instructions, it might ask you to post your Amazon profile. So you do that, and then by the time these guys wake up and are back at work, someone will respond to you and say, are you interested in doing this? Do you mind if you buy it now? We'll PayPal you right after it's live. It's a quick conversation. And if you say yes, then they'll send you the link and you buy it. And so I actually have this one. I don't have the review, but this is the Ikela, and it kind of looks like this. Man, look, they're, twins. So I actually did it, and this is through, I can't see it here, but this is another group that I don't have a link to, but it'll just pop up in your news feed. No groups, just as you scroll through your news feed, you'll see these send message sponsored ads, and that's how I got basically all of these. So let's kind of start and walk through some of these. So like I said, bought this one on Amazon, bought it on October 10th. Takes a day or two to get to me. Spend a couple of days listening to it, put together a review, post your review, and I don't remember how to get this one to actually light up, but it will eventually. Okay, no battery. So this is the Lusune wireless earbud. This one goes for about $35 on Amazon. So this one, I actually like this one a whole lot. This is probably, of the ones that I've got in front of me, definitely one of my favorites. A little kind of on a bigger side. It's got this kind of rubber wing, which I don't know if that's actually going to fit everyone's ear. It sort of just kind of slides into my ear. If you're going to have a smallish ear, I don't know. Going to be a little tougher fit because I think it's slightly on the bigger side, but not too bad. I think these are, I'm not sure which tips these are. So yeah, rule number one, these guys, almost all of them are going to have like these super short nozzles. And you got to buy some tips. So I have been using these Radio Shack tips, these Avio tips. These are the large silicone tips. I've pretty much put these on all of these, but if you put these on, they don't actually fit in the charging case. So I usually have them either stuffed into the case or just leave them out. But so these guys, I'm going to say these were really good on vocals, and it's not really a surprise the way these things are designed, because this is for music, for phone calls, for movies, for gaming. They sort of, and generally, they all concentrate on the mids and making those as clear as possible, and it all makes sense. Music, a lot of the majority of the music happens in the mids. You're making a call, it's just all voice. Gaming is kind of a little more spread over the map, but podcasts, all those things that they tune these things so the vocals are not very forward, but they're almost always going to be forward. And if it has a V signature, it's probably going to be more like a W, where you'll see like a little bump in the mids. But I haven't really run. I mean, most of them are pretty much flat, neutral tuned, and then they'll bring the mids up a little bit. I don't think, at least in these budget ones, there's not that many that seem to be V-tuned. This is probably one of the closer ones because it can actually do quite a bit of bass. But the majority of them in this price range, they're going to be bass lacking. I just happen to like this one because you put the tips on it and then you get actually some pretty good bass. Not too slow, but not really fast. You'll see a couple, if you got like the upright bass, you'll definitely hear an error or two, but not too bad. Definitely the most musical. These were definitely the first ones that I almost forgot that I was using wireless, because they sound pretty much, you know, like a decent in-ear. If they were just a little smaller, then you'd really forget they're wireless. But yeah, they were. This was kind of one of the first pairs I got, and I didn't really take them off for a while. Really nice. So that was those guys. So the ones I mentioned in my last video, these are the Hailu GT1s, which are actually Xiaomi GT1s. I think the Xiaomi AirDots, I think is what they call them. And these things are absolutely tiny. So one, the sound is actually pretty good. It's not quite as much bass as these guys, but pretty close. But what these guys do is they're so light and so small, you almost forget that you're wearing wire buds, period. Like, you almost can't feel them. They're that light. And that's kind of a really cool feeling. Like, at some point, you just lose the illusion that there's anything in your ear, and you're just hearing sound. So that's why these things kind of made my top list. Really cool. It's probably like wearing a hearing aid. It's, you know, so tiny and so light that after a while you just forget it's there, and then you're just hearing sound. And you're just walking around, it's like, oh, there's music emanating from around my head somewhere, and you just forget it's these guys. So yeah, the Hailu guys, I haven't actually seen these pop up on an ad anymore, but yeah, these guys, I would actually, you know, spend my own money, probably not Amazon money. Let me see. Let's see what these guys were. So these guys were $29, and I'm almost positive that they are cheaper from other places other than Amazon, but they're $29 on Amazon. Let's see. The Move 1. So there's a couple versions of this Move 1. I guess this is a more popular set. So again, these things sort of get bigger, and this one is sort of designed for more of an active guy, I guess. But, you know, you gotta, at the end of the day, you still have to fit this thing into your ear, and it's got to lock in with this wing. And these are probably ones that, if you change the tip to something bigger, it'll lock into your ear a little easier than trying to lock it in with the wing. But when I first tried these with the stock tips, which is what these are, it was sort of uncomfortable because this thing ends up being really big, and you're trying to slide this into some ridge in your ear. So these weren't my favorite kind of up front. These are probably like number 3. But there's various versions of it. This is called the Move 1 V6, and there's other different versions of the V6. This one's got like a super mushy bass, kind of slow. Mids aren't as forward as they really should be for this price range. So sound-wise, these guys didn't really do it for me, and fit-wise didn't really do it for me. But, you know, actually a pretty nice-looking small package. And those guys were $40 on Amazon at the time. Otium, these guys had, you know, one of the coolest movies on Amazon. It's kind of a super fancy. They've got, you know, super case as well, so you get battery levels on each bud, touch sensitive buttons on these guys, super nice. Unfortunately, I think these guys actually had the lightest bass of all of them. You know, fanciest case, but lightest bass of all of them. So it kind of made me mad. Like, you know, I'll take a normal case if you just make the bass better. So there's lots of punch, but, you know, sub bass wise, these things are just lacking. And in general, it's hard to find things in the $30 price range that have a whole lot of bass. So that won't really surprise me anyway if they're kind of lacking. But these two guys definitely have kind of acceptable listening style range of bass. These guys were probably on a too light side for me anyway. I don't know anything else about. Oh, so The other thing in general about these guys is because they're all Bluetooth, the first thing that you notice is that you're sort of missing the warmth of music. So like this guy, he's missing, an appropriate amount of bass, and the bass sort of helps add warmth through the mids anyway. And if you're missing that, and then you're throwing on like a Bluetooth codec, which is compressing the music, it's taking out sort of those really tiny details. A lot of the airiness from the vocals seems to be kind of compressed out in the transmission. So you're losing some warmth there. So yeah, in general, I found it really hard to find a warm pair if that sound is really yours. These definitely all sound Bluetooth-y, where you're not really going to hear that much those tiny reverberations or the airiness in someone's voice, because it's just being lost through the codec. And at this price range, you're kind of looking at AAC or SBC, which is the default Bluetooth bare minimum codec. So yeah, I don't think these guys are kind of at the KZ ZSN Pro yet, but it doesn't mean they're not enjoyable to listen to. I mean, when you throw something like this in your ear and it's just kind of magical, there's a tiny thing, weightless, and it's just piping in decent sounding music into your ears, that is almost worth it. It's a compromise between, a wireless super cool thing in your ear versus a better sounding music reproduction from something wired. So these guys I don't think anything in this price range is ever going to beat something wired, but don't let that stop you from trying them, because once you get used to them, the enjoyment of having no wires and nothing wrapped around your ear, nothing dangling down your neck, when you have that freedom of there's just nothing, it's cool. It's I find it fascinating. Obviously, I've been collecting these because I find some value in them, and if you want to go down that path that I went down and try some of these out through Facebook groups or whatever, you're welcome to. I don't mean to point these out, like go out and buy these. These are just happens to the ones that I got in return for some videos. So if something like the GT1 interests you, I'd probably go and find GearBest or AliExpress. That's probably cheaper than Amazon anyway. And this one, and oddly enough, this one is actually, you can find reviews on this one, on the GT1. It's actually a pretty popular one. I think I just got lucky and got that one in return for a review. So that's it. If you have any questions, let me know in the comments and I'll try to point you in the right direction. It's kind of new for me, but I paid for all these, got all my PayPal money back. So not a scam, but still a bit of a risk because the guy is in a different continent, 12 hours away from you, and it's not always straightforward to say, hey, I posted my review, can I get my PayPal? You'll end up waiting until, he wakes up and goes to work and sees your message, and sometimes he won't see your message and you repost your message, but I've basically got them all reimbursed after probably at most 2 days of pinging them on Facebook Messenger. Most of them are pretty instant though. Like, oh, here's your review, here's your PayPal, and done. So thanks for tuning in, and I will see you next time.